Hey, what's up, everybody? You're listening to another episode of Walk-Ins Welcome with Nick and Michael. We have a special guest today that I'm excited to have with us for a second round with us, Michael.
Yes, it is
absolutely.
Second round.
Can't go without saying we're here to help you get more patients, deliver better care, get repeat visits, and scale your clinics. Part of that is bringing on the best of the best in the industry who are in the trenches, doing it every day at scale. Love it. Michael, tell us about our guest today.
Absolutely. We say second round because she's actually, so just to kind of give you some context, she's the one that talked about the water bottles at schools. And that's something that we still reference today when we talk to people. And we give her credit for it, but
That's
we do reference it. But no, and so this is Rachel Davis. She's the marketing director of 25 urgent care clinics. God bless her soul. It is part of AFC brand, but 25 clinics in 3 different states. She's been in the marketing bit for a long time. She's been with them now for 10 years. So she lives and breathes this stuff every day. We were joking that when she comes on the 3rd time, she'll be interviewing us because she'll be the complete expert of everything. And we're just here to learn and listen. So
I love it. All right, Rachel, say hello to the Walk-Ins Welcome fam and tell us one thing about you that nobody else knows.
All right. Nice to meet everyone. Something nobody knows probably is that one of my first jobs was being a media buyer for the Crystal campaign, Crystal hamburgers. Ooh. And as part of my job requirement, I had to be a counter girl for the Crystal Square Off for Joey Chestnut. And so that was a very interesting intro into the marketing world.
I love Crystal so much. We were coming back from North Carolina, Tuesday. And our first stop was, hey, let's get out of the plane. Let's go to Crystal. That's exactly what we did.
I got a sack full.
Yeah, it was delicious. And fun fact to match yours, Rachel, is my son was actually featured on Crystal's social media one time for I guess he was probably 8 or 9 and he ate like 20 Crystals. That wasn't fun later. But
I love it.
Yeah, I can't say I've had too many Crystals after being a counter girl for that contest.
Yeah.
What's the most you've ever eaten in one sitting?
Boy, 4.
4?
Oh, come on. I think you can do better than that.
4.
Disappointing.
Well, before we got started on the episode, we were having a good conversation around leadership, and we were having a conversation around impacting the community. And I think I want to start this in that I want to know what the most exciting thing in marketing for you is right now. Let's just start there, broad.
Oh, broadly, the most exciting thing, I'd be remiss if I didn't say AI, right? But I do think there are some really interesting opportunities to capture that in tandem with social media. But for me personally, the most exciting thing is, we've gone so digital in getting back to that personal community touch in marketing and making it so that you're giving back, you're providing value to the community. That's really what I'm passionate about.
So as you're out in the community, help me understand that a little bit. What specific things in the community are you doing that you're like, this is fun, this is why I'm in marketing, this is what I love to do?
Sure. So we have a new clinic, and the clinic opened up not in season. So it was summertime when we opened it up. And so out of the gate, it struggled. Building that community awareness is hard when you're not in busy season. And so how do we do that? Social media is such a great platform. And there's a lot of power there at the right time and used the right way. So what we did is we looked at August and we said, okay, August is prime sports physical season. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a specific day that we do a free sports physical and a specific time that we're going to do this. We're also going to measure it by creating an event on Facebook so that we can be prepared for the volume. So a clinic that was, in the upper teens, low 20s, saw 92 patients that day that we ran the free sports physical. It was at the right time, on the right platform. There were sports teams that were sharing it. The school pages were sharing the post. And so it was about the timing and the power that you can get behind that. also budget wise, I think we spent $100 boosting the post. And yes, we didn't get the money for the sports physical, but the exposure, we saw an immediate lift right after that day.
That's
So
awesome.
along with that, back to school season, we capitalized in August as well by running a social media ad. Again, we spent $100, $200 on it, and we gave away a $500 check to the school who was mentioned or tagged the most on our post. We had 800 comments within 2 weeks of different schools, and they were all tagging the local elementary schools. So then the local elementary schools were posting it on their pages, and they're all fighting against each other. And all in, we spent $600-700 on this campaign, and we essentially reached every single elementary school within a 5-mile radius, and every single mom who is looking at those pages for their back to school supply lists and all the things that they need to get their kid back to school. So great exposure to get back into the school season with those two ideas.
We are not worthy because that was so good. Like, I love the strategic effectiveness of that with a low budget at the end of the day. Like, that's so smooth to me because you got into the school system without having to get into the school system, which was crazy. That's so good.
Near impossible.
We printed one of those giant checks and brought it to the school too. So we took a picture with some of the kids and the school admins with this giant check, and then the schools were posting it on their pages. And, so it definitely had a viral effect.
I like the fact that you took the traditional approach and then you added the social media, the digital aspect to that, so that it's this blend of both grassroots and digital, and you're building that digital audience that you're going to be able to tap into later. I love that.
And then giving back to your community at the exact same time, because in both of those instances, you were giving money back to the school or you were giving away services to the school, essentially. That's awesome.
Exactly.
So I want to ask, how did you calculate the marketing dollars, the marketing cost of this? And here's what I mean. You have X amount of dollars that went, I think you said $100 to boost the post. That's not a very significant amount. So that's a throwaway. But when you take the time put into your staff, the supplies, getting to the location, all of the things that have a cost to it, a lot of clinics will go, well, I don't want to go work for free, and connect the dots on this isn't free. This is your marketing cost.
Correct. I do see a lot of people saying, marketing should be 3%, or, they'll throw percentages out there. But I do think when you are trying to build a clinic in the community, it is so vital that you are being active in that community, and that your core demographic, those working moms, are seeing you. And so, yes, you are not getting the dollar for the sports physical, and you can even run a discounted sports physical. You don't have to do a free sports physical. But that one day lift, like I said, without looking at cost, you can see the patient volume lift from week over week after doing a free sports physical day where you're seeing 92 patients in a day. We had so many people calling us the week after and the following weeks after, still wanting a sports physical. And we said, sure, come on in. It's not free, but we can certainly get you that sports physical that you need. It's $35 or $45, and so you're seeing even the ripple effects of running that campaign itself. With the social media piece for the back to school giveaway, it truly was a $600 campaign. And when you look at the analytics on Facebook of the reach that we had and the impact, that tells the story in itself. However, we did see patient lift after that. We are headed into flu season. So yes, it is hard to measure exactly, but we saw school kids from those schools coming into our clinic. So we know there was an effect.
I love that. All right. So let's take a look down the road. We're having a great conversation around leadership and how you're leading in your community. But as you look down the road, where do you see the urgent care industry heading from a marketing perspective? What do you think the kind of impact where I'm trying to qualify the question in such a way. Is it going to be more digital? Is it going to be more traditional marketing? Is it going to be more television, radio, and print? Where do you see it going from your perspective?
Great question. I do see it going more digital. I see more of the social media elements, and I see more of the Simplify or OTT elements coming into play, as well as Google. But I do think that there's definitely some uncertainty where things are going with AI right now and all of that media. And I do think that trust is a big element. And I think that trust has to be earned. And that's why the community events are where you're out there in the public and the trust is earned. But I am seeing that social media is having a larger play here recently. And for the amount of money that you spend in social media, you can have a larger impact than anything that I've been able to find, whether that be print or broadcast buys.
That's so good. What do you consider trust builders and trust breakers?
Well, if your clinic is running rogue TikTok campaigns, shut that down. I don't
shut it down.
That's funny.
Don't do that. A brand trust, no. But I think that brand trust comes from the community speaking on your behalf. So the Google reviews, your website being up to date and thorough and professional, your social media being professional. But I also think being engaged on social media. So I really think that clinics need to be engaged on community pages, that there should be a liaison that is trusted, that is engaging on these local forums. There are so many local pages out there that are very heavily used by the community. And that's not going to happen at an agency level. So
Agreed.
That's something that clinics themselves can do that builds trust. I also think the brand awareness is important. You do have to be in front of them at some point, whether it be, in the school system or on television at some capacity or on radio at some capacity. You need to be doing a little bit of it all to show the trust element and professionalism element.
Yeah, we call that omnipresence. When you're talking about being where your customers are.
Yep.
The difference is being where they are when they're not necessarily needing you.
Yes.
That's what we call mind share, right?
Mm-hmm.
We want to take up space in their brain so that whenever somebody does need you and they have a choice, you've taken up mental energy and they're choosing you because of it. And that's why you invest those dollars that don't have an immediate ROI. Is that the thought process? Am I onto something there?
Oh, 100%. And I know we were chatting earlier, but that's one of the reasons that we really have kind of flipped the narrative in the clinic itself and saying, we want to make every patient feel valued and not that we're just seeing them for a time slot. We want them to really know that we care and that we're providing this healthcare service because we care. And so we've sort of taken a step back and said, how can we make that apparent to the patient? And so our providers are handwriting a thank you note to every patient to let them know, this is who you saw. And please follow up. If you have any questions about anything, you can call us here, and thank you. We appreciate that you chose us to be your healthcare provider.
Now, before we got on the call, first of all, I don't want credit for this. This is absolutely your connection. So your favorite baseball team?
Savannah Bananas.
I'm on the same page. Banana ball is my actual jam.
Have you won the lottery yet and got a ticket to a game yet?
I have not. And my son is just dying, to go.
Well, Michael, in her defense, there's 4 million people on the waiting list.
Oh, I know.
According to them. and I would
I
be
was just
one
thinking how
of them.
lucky she was.
I know, right?
Same. No,
But
that and the
connect those dots
Masters.
because that's right.
Yeah.
What we were discussing just now in the handwritten notes, a lot of that was derived from your thoughts on the Savannah Bananas. Let's dive into that for just a second. Connect the
right.
dots for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jesse Cole is really their marketing guru at Savannah Bananas. He's the guy dressed in all yellow, right? And his narrative has always been putting his customers first. In fact, I mean, they go as far as, I'm pretty sure your ticket buys you like a meal as well, and all of these, parking, everything is included. And it's just, how can we be different from everybody else in putting that patient first? Well, they would be their customer. How do they put them first? Always. And it starts off little, but when that momentum gets going, it gets huge. And that's really what he's been able to use is that momentum of starting small and growing it to be what it is today.
I just got a visual of the twerking umpire, and
Yes.
I'm just like, how can we get our doctor to walk into the room and just like throwing up a party, and then all of a sudden the rest of the staff comes in and they're walking by the door just juking by? That would be epic. I would go to that. I would go to that urgent care 100% of the
And
time.
it'd be
It
like,
would
and
make
your
you
test
smile.
came back negative. And they're like partying to like a negative test
That's
result.
right.
Here's your prescription. You
Oh
know?
man, and you're getting merch on the way out. Oh, that would be so good. I'm
That
in,
would
Rachel.
be
When
the
are we coming up to
Jumbotron.
Tennessee for a visit? Let's do this. I'm sick. I feel terrible.
I love it. I love it.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
so funny.
Well, let's keep. I could sit here on the Savannah Bananas all day long, but since
It is amazing.
we're talking about games anyway. We'll go into this kind of game changer spot here. If you could wave a magic wand and you could instantly improve one area of the urgent care experience, and it would make the biggest impact, what would it be?
Reimbursements.
Okay.
But that is spoken by a true urgent care person.
I don't think I've ever heard a different answer to that.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm about to say,
as the
payers.
collective listening audience goes, yeah,
that's about right.
You're going to get a lot of likes on that one.
There
yeah,
you go.
that I will.
Yeah.
If there's a place like a Loom video where you can go in and you can get all the emojis, that's going to be the part of the
That would be
episode
the
part
where
right
everybody
there.
clicks.
No.
Okay, so let's take the obvious one off the table.
I think the biggest thing for urgent care is to break through some of the clutter of, millennials do not have primary care doctors. And so there's a lot of people out there needing healthcare, but also not knowing like really what type of healthcare that they need. And they're coming to the doctor for the first time in years. And being able to be that healthcare provider that's letting them know, okay, you should probably be taking this step in your life now. You're 45 years old. When did you have a colonoscopy? To be able to have those conversations on more of a primary care level and being able to have that transparency to see some sort of health history across different, EMRs would be fantastic. But beyond that, I do think healthcare is a little bit siloed right now, and we need to be able to capture how to serve that patient as a whole the best way possible, whether that be through just their illness or more of a primary care route, because a lot of them are not seeing primary care doctors right now. And that's the next huge generation coming up.
So on your 25 clinics, do any of them offer primary care? Do they all offer primary care? What's the mix there?
Yeah, so we do offer primary care services. Now, in terms of being your primary care provider, that's something that our clinics currently are not doing, but we are exploring, and how we can, provide those services, but how we can provide that maintenance that a primary care provider does. So the things like blood pressure medicine and those type of things. But yes, anything that you would go to a primary care physician for, we can treat. But it is one of those things right now that we're seeing a big need for. Geriatrics is another one that we're seeing a big need for coming up. So there are these things that are on the horizon, not too far away, that I can see AFC's got some exciting announcements coming up.
She's
Nice.
like, I've got things to say that I can't say
I
right
can't
now.
say it. I need to get rid of. And I'll tell you this. So from our own experiences with our clients, we've had a lot of success with the primary care clients that where they have an urgent care and they have a sister branded primary care that's next door half the time in a separate building. And but for us, like every time we take on a primary care only, we see their volume uptick tremendously because the demand is there. Like people want it. And because I think we had one client within a month tripled their patients in 1 month, which is much harder to do in the urgent care space out of 1 month. But in this particular space, it worked out. So I agree with you. Like there's a demand there that's coming because millennials, we're getting old. And, we were taught not to have primary care. Like you just don't get sick. You just go to an urgent care. And now we're getting old. Now I feel like I got to have one, or my insurance provider is telling me I have to have a primary care so I can get my referrals over to my other doctors. So,
yep. A lot of things start to happen at that 45 range too, where, you realize, okay, I have this heart palpitation or got high blood pressure according to whatever monitor, and
Stop
I need to see a primary care.
Yeah. Or went to the dentist.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Well, so in the event, for some reason, AFC gets into the primary care space, no announcements here. Fun fact, local service ads, Google local service ads has recently opened up the category for primary care.
That's huge.
Which is, it's going to be a fun, I wish they would do it for urgent care. I can see why they are not yet because of radius, but that'll be fun to experiment with some of our primary cares on seeing if people are going to be responsive to the LSAs. And I'm sure you're already looking into it. That's no news to you, but interesting. I'd love to know how y'all are going to use that if for whatever reason an announcement were made.
Absolutely. No, we would 100% be on board. Looking at it being tied to a specific provider was a bit of the tricky situation with not having providers on set schedules per se. So that was the hang up for us. It's a small hurdle though, right? It's something we can work on once we get to that.
Well, I know you guys will have a plan going forward, however you're going to do it, but let's talk about AI. I know I want to attach it a different way. I could sit here and talk about what's your favorite AI tool. We could talk about if you're using Scribe. That's not really how I want to approach this. You had made mention about servant leadership. And I want to know how you're leveraging AI to creatively give servant leadership to your team.
That is great. So I have used AI in certain areas, I would say, where I felt that we could have efficiencies by utilizing it. But I've also used it, I guess, outside of servanthood. I've gotten in some arguments with AI, but
Me too.
Using it to really validate our SEO efforts. I want to make sure we do a really fantastic job on the SEO front when it comes to Google. But we have no real Twitter presence, so wasn't sure about Grok. We have, very limited other presences that are associated that GPT was pulling from, like Bird Eye and stuff. So trying to see where all the AI scribes are going right now, and our chatbots are going, and where they're pulling from is interesting. But we also have used AI to pull in some of our Google reviews. And this would go back to more of the servant heart question, in trying to figure out what clinics were doing well at what. So often I think we get so narrow-minded on the negative reviews, but we neglect the positive. And it's really interesting when you pull in those reviews, you can upload them and tell ChatGPT to give you a sentiment on those reviews. And it will say, you know, like this clinic is really great at their front desk hospitality, you know, and giving you some examples, and then sending that to the clinics to reaffirm them, like, keep up the good work here. You guys are really making an impact when it comes to hospitality. And it gives like a little summary of some of the reviews that they've received. And an encouraging note back to the clinics is really important. It keeps them inspired and keeps them going. So, yeah.
I love it. I love that you're leveraging that.
Yeah, because I traditionally think when you say AI and Google reviews, I just think from like a response standpoint. But the fact that it's like, no, we want to prop up these people and let them know they're doing a good job and be proactive about it. Because Absolutely. I think, you know, in your space, the urgent care space is where the negative is such a focus, and it's it is depressing, honestly, to some of these like people that are practicing. Like, I did the right thing and they weren't happy about it, you know, they weren't happy that I chose the right path, and they're like, that's not what they wanted, or they complained about the payer situation,
right?
That's the thing. So, but no, I get that, because at the end of the day, I mean, the burnout's real, you know, and then having those little touches of positivity, like, hey, you are making a difference. These are human lives that you're touching right now, and you've made impact on them. And so I think that's just cool to me.
Absolutely. And there's, you know, a lot there too. These positions sometimes that aren't, like you said, they only hear the negative. And what comes to mind for me is just these X-ray techs. They have a hard position. They're hard to find. And any way that you can help them feel validated and valued for their work, that builds their brand loyalty in their hearts too, as well.
So in the scope of a servant leader, I'm only throwing this out there because I think it would be a good collaboration and just discussion. One of the things that I'm doing and experimenting with, I haven't fully done this, but I'm experimenting with it, is my team has gone through DISC profile. We've gone through Working Geniuses. We've gone through the 6 Working Geniuses, Pat Lencioni. We've gone through the languages of appreciation. That's like the 5 love languages, but it's for the workplace, right? And so what I've done is I've taken one particular employee and I've said, this is their DISC profile. This is their language of appreciation. This is their whatever, all the things I just said, right? Yeah. And then I've taken their past 1-to-1 reviews that I've been copied on, and I've loaded that in there. And I've just simply said, understanding this information, what could I do to make their life better, easier, help support them, whatever? And that's that empathetic servant leadership, where I don't think that way at all, right? My personality is my personality, but it understands that in them to the degree that I give it good information, right? And then I said, I bet Izzy would probably do well if you just went over to her office and just told her she was doing a really good job and that you appreciated the work that she does. Well, it knows that, or it knows maybe she'd like it if you bought her a gift or something like that, right? So, or for Alyssa, for example, don't touch her. Don't give her a high five. That ain't her, right? But you know, right? So that's how I'm leveraging AI to be a servant leader to my team, or at least working on experimenting.
That is a great idea.
So it's been fun.
I love that.
It's been fun to see, because I don't think that way at all. I'm not a gifts person, so it helps me get creative. You know, and now I have a bunch of stickers. You've seen it.
Absolutely.
And it's blowing people's mind. I bought this huge pack of stickers that's just like positive energy stickers or whatever. Now, if you know me, that is not who I am. Right. And so somebody will walk into my office and they're having a bad day, and I've got this perfect sticker to hand them, and it changes their entire day.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my idea, by the way. That was ChatGPT. So
it's great. It's great. People are so different, and being able to reach them in different ways, that's big. That's really good.
Yeah. One of them got an emotional support pickle Yeah, like we just
it's real.
it's a stupid little
and it
$8 TikTok thing, and it stays on her desk forever.
It lives on her desk looking at her, which is so funny.
Oh, that is
But
awesome.
these are the kind of
and I
things-
can see those personalities in our clinics too. So I need to steal that one from you guys.
Well, there you go. Well, we'll send you the episode when it's done, and you can go back and reference. But that's because you're so good, Rachel, at the empathy and the wanting to give back on a traditional level that I think is a missing art today, and even from myself. So I love the fact that you're intentional about that.
Yeah.
AI is helping me be intentional in an area that I'm weak, and that's what I like about it.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's great. And I'm glad that you're able to use it in that way and find that. Everybody's, I think, trying to look for, what am I doing wrong with my website, with AI or things like that. But
Right.
to be able to use it in such a unique way, that's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. I got a folder built on everybody. I hope it's not storing it and sending it out to everybody.
Now I gotta go look as a user. Can I see this?
Yeah, you can't see it on mine. I've got my own because it's got personal HR stuff. You remember me spinning that up a few months ago?
Yeah, I do.
All right, I want to hit some rapid fire questions. I heard this on another podcast. It's not an original idea, but I loved it so much. I'm like, I'm going to do this with Rachel today. So what it is, I'm going to ask you a question, and I really just want you to give me the first thing that pops into your head. It'll just be fun. You down? You good?
Reimbursements.
Reimbursements is the answer to everything. So here we go. All right. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Coffee for her. All right, Michael, do another one for us.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
Okay.
Blech. No, thank you. All right, what's a book that's impacted you the most this year?
Oh, I don't have one because I haven't really read this year.
That's okay.
That's okay.
Well, I'm going to give you one that's impacted me greatly. It's called The AI Driven Leader. Highly recommend that. That's a fun one. Give us one, Michael.
One word that your kids would use to describe you.
Fun, hopefully.
Okay.
We'll take that.
We'll take it.
All right. What's the most used app on your phone that isn't email or text message?
Okay, that's what I was just going to bring up because have you guys heard Hard Fork podcast?
No. Who's that?
AI. It's an AI podcast. And so while I don't read a ton, I do listen to a lot of podcasts. And it's a fabulous podcast about AI technology. Hard Fork is the name of it. And you guys would really like it.
Okay.
Well, that will be on my list today on the way home from work.
There you go.
Hard
There you go.
Fork.
Yep.
All right. Last one. Biggest mom win from the past week.
Oh, man. From the last week, my daughter kicking a penalty kick and making that shot in her soccer game.
I love that so much. In the sports, right after her sports physical, kicked the field goal.
Another thing I wanted to say really quick on community events and to everyone, don't miss out on the trunk or treats coming up. They're great events to be out in the community. We even look at, we get a cotton candy machine going and, getting that cotton candy out to the kids, including little hot cold packs saying, in case Johnny trips on his dinosaur costume, or Band-Aids and toothbrushes, things that the mom will use. But capitalize on those trunk or treats. They're real easy, cheap ways to get out in the community.
Yeah, I agree.
So a branded Band-Aid that you can put on everybody that walks by.
Yeah.
Just stick them. Yes.
A Brand-Aid.
A Brand-Aid.
A Brand-Aid.
Brand-Aid.
That's what we'll call it.
Brand-Aid.
I love it.
Awesome. All right, Rachel, thank you again for coming on. Once again, we learned a lot.
It never fails.
We did give something back. So I felt like we did give something back on the AI stuff. So I feel good about that. I feel like
I love that.
we earned our keep. Yeah, we earned our keep for that one. But Rachel, thank you so much again for coming on. If you want to reach out to Rachel, she's definitely on LinkedIn. That's how I reached out to her originally back in the day. So reach out on LinkedIn, hit her up. Like I said, she's part of the AFC network. So she knows urgent care really well with 25 locations to play around with. So if you got questions, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer. But anything else you want to leave us with before we wrap it up?
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
I've got one thing. I want to hear from you, the listening audience. if you would like to hear Rachel Davis host a podcast, a Walk-Ins Welcome podcast,
There you go.
and be a guest host. We've never had one. If I was ever going to have one, it would be you, Rachel. We got to hear from the audience then. All right. Thank you for coming on. It was great talking with you, and we will see you on the next episode.
See ya.
Thank you.